The venerated Socrates was born in Athens, Greece, circa 470 BC. Many people consider him to be the father of Western philosophy. Others think of him as an insightful teacher and an enlightened master. Socrates believed that an individual's main purpose on earth was to discover the truth. He stated that most people focus their lives around their families, careers, and social responsibilities, when in fact they should be concerned about the welfare of their souls. With compassion for all life, Socrates followed and promoted a vegetarian diet. Most of the information about Socrates, his life and his philosophy, was transcribed after his departure by two of his students, Plato and Xenophon. These disciples wrote about their master in several books, in which Socrates is depicted as the main character. One of Plato's most famous and influential philosophical works is entitled Symposium. It features valuable dialogues between Socrates and others, mainly on the topic of love, the different ways it is manifested, and as a transcendent path to attaining spiritual heights. Today we continue with the enthralling dialogue between Socrates and Diotima of Mantinea, the Greek seer and priestess, who was also a teacher of the venerated philosopher, on the sublime matter of love. The following lines are from Plato's work Symposium, where Socrates recalls some of Diotima's accounts of love. I have told you already, Diotima, that my ignorance is the reason why I come to you, for I am conscious that I want a teacher. Tell me then the cause of this and of the other mysteries of love. Marvel not, she said, if you believe that love is of the immortal, as we have several times acknowledged, for here again, and on the same principle too, the mortal nature is seeking, as far as is possible, to be everlasting and immortal, and this is only to be attained by generation, because generation always leaves behind a new existence in the place of the old. Not even in the life of the same individual there is succession and not absolute unity. A man is called the same, and yet in the short interval which elapses between youth and old age, and in which every animal is said to have life and identity, he is undergoing a perpetual process of loss and reparation. Hair, flesh, bones, blood, and the whole body are always changing, which is true not only of the body but also of the soul, whose habits, tempers, opinions, desires, pleasures, pains, fears never remain the same in any one of us, but are always coming and going, and equally true of knowledge, and what is still more surprising to us mortals, not only do the sciences in general spring up and decay, so that in respect of them we are never the same, but each of them individually experiences a like change. For what is implied in the word recollection but the departure of knowledge, which is ever being forgotten, and is renewed and preserved by recollection, and appears to be the same, although in reality new, according to that law of succession, by which all mortal things are preserved, not absolutely the same, but by substitution, the old worn-out mortality leaving another new and similar existence behind, unlike the divine, which is always the same and not another. And in this way Socrates, the mortal body, or mortal anything, partakes of immortality, but the immortal in another way. Marvel not then at the love which all men have of their offspring, for that universal love and interest is for the sake of immortality. I was astonished at her words and said, Is this really true, O thou wise Diotima? And she answered with all the authority of an accomplished sophist, Of that, Socrates, you may be assured. Think only of the ambition of men, and you will wonder at the senselessness of their ways, unless you consider how they are stirred by the love of an immortality of fame. They are ready to run all risks, greater far than they would have for their children, and to spend money and undergo any sort of toil, and even to die for the sake of leaving behind them a name which shall be eternal. She said, I am persuaded that all men do all things, and the better they are, the more they do them, in hope of the glorious fame of immortal virtue, for they desire the immortal. Those who are pregnant in the body only betake themselves to women and beget children. This is the character of their love, their offspring, as they hope will preserve their memory and giving them the blessedness and immortality which they desire in the future. But souls which are pregnant, for there certainly are men who are more creative in their souls than in their bodies, conceive that which is proper for the soul to conceive or contain. And what are these conceptions? Wisdom and virtue in general. And such creators are poets and artists who are deserving of the name inventor. But the greatest and fairest sort of wisdom by far is that which is concerned with the ordering of states and families, and which is called temperance and justice. These are the lesser mysteries of love, into which even you, Socrates, may enter. To the greater and more hidden ones, which are the crown of this, and to which if you pursue them in a right spirit they will lead, I know not whether you will be able to attain. But I will do my utmost to inform you, and do you follow if you can. For he who would proceed aright in this matter should begin in youth to visit beautiful forms, and first, if he be guided by his instructor aright, to love one such form only, out of that he should create fair thoughts. And soon he will of himself perceive that the beauty of one form is akin to the beauty of another, and then, if beauty of form in general is his pursuit, how foolish would he be not to recognize that the beauty in every form isn't the same. And when he perceives this, he will abate his violent love of the one, which he will despise and deem a small thing, and will become a lover of all beautiful forms. In the next stage, he will consider that the beauty of the mind is more honorable than the beauty of the outward form, so that if a virtuous soul have but a little comeliness, he will be content to love and tend him, and will search out and bring to the birth thoughts which may improve the young, until he is compelled to contemplate and see the beauty of institutions and laws, and to understand that the beauty of them all is of one family, and that personal beauty is a trifle. And after laws and institutions, he will go on to the sciences, that he may see their beauty, being not like a servant in love with the beauty of one youth or man or institution, himself a slave mean and narrow-minded, but drawing towards and contemplating the vast sea of beauty, he will create many fair and noble thoughts, and notions in boundless love of wisdom. Good-hearted viewers, we thank you for being with us for today's program entitled On Love, from Socrates' Dialogue with Diotima of Mantinia in Symposium by Plato, Vegetarian, Part 2 of 2. Coming up next is Remix the Future with Chris Leon, Vegan, Part 2 of 2, right after Noteworthy News. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming. May divine love and benevolence be constant in your precious lives.
Our programs offer many languages.
Keep the world turning, which he often shares through.
And as a singer, I feel like
The mass Welcome back to our show on musician, rapper,